You know how sometimes it feels like that some of your favorite celebrities go from being at the top of the world to suddenly facing a career downfall? It's crazy, right? One minute they are on top of their game, and the next they are in the middle of drama, controversies, or just making choices that seem to wreck everything they have worked for. Let's talk about some of these stars whose careers took a huge hit. So grab your popcorn because these stories are wild. Katy Perry. Let's first talk about Katy Perry. You probably loved her songs at some point. I mean, who did not? Songs like Firework and Roar were everywhere, and they made us feel good. But 2024 was not her year, and her career really struggled. It started with her album 143. When I heard she had new music, I was excited. But when the songs came out, they felt flat. They did not have that spark or catchiness we all loved. Fans did not feel connected, and the album did not sell well. It just did not work. Then she made a big mistake working with Dr. Luke. He is a producer who has been accused of bad things, and most people in music stay away from him. When Katy worked with him, it upset her fans. It felt like she ignored their feelings, and many stopped supporting her. Even her time on American Idol did not help. Fans thought she gave harsh advice and seemed out of touch. By the end of the year, her music was not connecting, her choices upset fans, and she felt far from the new artists who were taking over. Sean Diddy Combs. All right, the second person on our list is Sean Diddy Combs. This is the guy who seemed like he was on top of the world. He seemed unstoppable, a music legend, a business tycoon, and the king of parties. From his hit I'll Be Missing You to his iconic Ciroc brand, he had it all. But in 2024, everything fell apart fast. It started with a serious lawsuit. A woman accused Diddy of abuse and assault during their relationship, and these were not just rumoring, they were detailed allegations. Fans were shocked, and social media blew up. People began questioning everything about him, and calls to cancel him spread quickly. The fallout hit his businesses hard. Ciroc, his famous liquor brand, became a target for boycotts, with fans refusing to support anything tied to him. And his silence made it worse. He did not explain, apologize, or say anything at all. In the public eye, staying quiet often looks like guilt. As the days went on, trust in him crumbled. Fans turned away, brands dropped him, and his empire began to fall apart. By the end of the year, the man who once said, "Can't stop, won't stop," had no choice but to stop. Blake Lively. Blake Lively is the picture of Hollywood success. You have seen her in Gossip Girl as Serena van der Woodsen, and you have probably admired her flawless style and family life. But let's be real for a second. 2024 was not exactly a year she would want to remember. So what went down? Well, first, her personal life hit the headlines. Blake usually keeps her family life private, but rumors about trouble between her and Ryan Reynolds spread like wildfire. It was messy and people could not stop talking about it. Then came her brand partnerships, and this is where things really went downhill. She worked on a luxury campaign that felt completely tone deaf. While many people were struggling financially, Blake was promoting expensive, exclusive products. Fans felt disconnected, even a little betrayed. What made it worse was how Blake responded or did not. Instead of addressing the criticism, she stayed quiet, letting the backlash grow. When you are in the public eye, silence can look indifferent, and that does not sit well with people. By the end of the year 2024, her once flawless image had taken a serious hit. She was not in the spotlight the way she used to be. JayZ, well, 2024 was not for JayZ. The guy has been at the top of his game for years. Music legend, business mogul, and an absolute icon. I mean, who does not know his name? But 2024? Yeah, not his year. It began with a business deal that upset a lot of people. JayZ teamed up with a tech company that had a bad reputation. Fans felt betrayed, saying he cared more about money than doing what's right. If you have followed his story, you know people loved him for being real and standing for something. Then there were the rumors about his personal life. You have probably heard how JayZ and Beyoncé have always been seen as the ultimate power couple. But in 2024, whispers about trouble in their marriage started spreading. Nothing was confirmed, but the talk was everywhere, and it made people see JayZ in a different light. When your personal life gets messy, it can spill over into your career. And let's be honest, his music was not helping either. JayZ released some new songs, but they did not make the same impact as his older hits. Younger listeners were not connecting with his work, and even longtime fans felt like the magic was fading. The guy who used to dominate the charts now felt like he was struggling to keep up. By the end of 2024, his career was not what it used to be. Will Smith, the Fresh Prince who was the star of Hollywood for years, any guesses? Yeah, Will Smith, the guy that has done everything from box office hits to an iconic TV show, and he has been the cool, lovable guy that everyone looked up to. But 2024? Well, let's just say it was not the year he thought it would be. His career was a serious hit. It all started with the fallout from the Oscars slap back in 2022. You remember that moment Will slapped Chris Rock live on stage and it became the talk of the world. Even after his apology, the incident stayed with him, leaving a dent in his once perfect image. In 2024, things did not get much better. His movies started flopping at the box office. For someone like Will, whose name used to guarantee a hit, this was a tough blow. People were just not excited about his films anymore, and critics were not holding back. It was hard to watch one of the most trusted stars in Hollywood lose that spark. On top of that, his personal life stayed under a microscope. The drama with Jada Pinkett Smith never seemed to die down. Headlines kept focusing on their relationship, and it felt like fans were getting tired of hearing about it. The constant speculation about his marriage only added to the negativity around him. Shakira. Did you know a famous superstar for a long time, with hits like Hips Don't Lie and Whenever, Wherever? In 2024, her career seems to be ruined. It all began with the drama around her breakup with Gerard Piqué. The whole world seemed to be watching every step of their split, and it was not pretty. Her private life got so much attention, it almost felt like it was taking over her career. People were not talking about her music anymore. They were talking about her relationship drama. And that kind of attention is not always the good kind. Her new songs did not hit the top of the charts, and people did not seem as excited about them. On top of that, brands that used to work with her started pulling away. Shakira was once the face of many companies, but now it seemed like they were nervous about all the drama. When your personal life is in the spotlight like that, it is hard for brands to stick with you. And without those big deals, her career started to slow down. And by the end of 2024, Shakira was not the same big name she once had. Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman's career in 2024 took a bit of a hit, and it is honestly tough to watch. We have all loved his books. American Gods was a masterpiece. Coraline became an animated classic, and he always seemed like someone whose work would stay relevant for years. But this year, things did not go as smoothly for him. First, his new book, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, did not create the buzz you would expect from a Gaiman release. It was not awful, in fact, some people liked it, but it did not have that spark. You know the excitement when everyone talking about a new book? That did not happen. Fans were not rushing to grab it, and critics were not as impressed as they used to be. For someone like Gaiman, who had a string of hits, this had to be disappointing. Then came trouble with Good Omens. The first season of the show was a hit, fun, fresh, and loved by fans. But the second season, not so much. It did not capture the same magic, and the ratings took a dip. If you watched it, you might have felt like something was missing. And when a big project like that does not land, it is hard to recover. On top of that, Gaiman got tangled in some social media drama. One poorly worded tweet, and suddenly people were upset. His comments rubbed fans the wrong way, and some started questioning him. Dr. Luke. Dr. Luke, the hit-making producer who once seemed untouchable, had a tough year in 2024. He is behind some of the biggest pop hits of the past decade, like Katy Perry's song Teenage Dream and Roar. If you have been following the drama, you know the Kesha lawsuit saga has been dragging on for years. She accused Dr. Luke of abuse, and it has been ugly. While he denied the accusations, the legal battles never really stopped. By 2024, the damage to his reputation was clear. People began questioning his character, and it was hard to overlook the controversy. After all, no one wants to back someone with that much baggage. And it was not just fans who were distancing themselves. In fact, his own industry was pulling away. The music world, which once flocked to him for his talents, was starting to reconsider. Sure, he is talented, but it is hard to ignore the scandal. Would you want to risk your reputation by working with someone tangled in such a mess? Even his new work did not save him. The tracks he produced in 2024 lacked the magic his earlier hits had. Kesha. Remember the days when TikTok was on repeat and Kesha was the queen of the party scene? It is hard to forget. You would probably remember her as the girl who brought us the party anthem TikTok and had a wild, carefree image. But behind the scenes, her career was falling apart because of her ongoing legal battle with Dr. Luke. For years, Kesha has been accusing Dr. Luke of abuse, and it has been a constant source of drama. In 2024, it felt like that legal fight completely overshadowed her music. She tried to come back with new songs, but they did not have the same impact as her earlier hits. The hype just was not there, and both fans and the music industry started moving on. Kesha just could not get her momentum back. The industry was not as eager to work with her, and it became clear that her career was struggling to stay afloat. The worst part is when people became divided over her story with Dr. Luke. Instead of rallying behind her, more people started questioning her, and that made it even harder for her to gain traction. Ben Affleck. Have you ever wondered how someone like Ben Affleck, with all his talent and success, ends up struggling in Hollywood? It is a tough pill to swallow, isn't it? In 2024, his career seemed to hit a wall, and you could not help but notice. The guy who gave you Good Will Hunting and Argo found himself in a place where his personal life and career choices just were not working in his favor. Let's talk about his relationship with Jennifer Lopez. You probably rooted for them when they got back together, right? It felt like a fairy tale at first, but then the drama started. The tabloids turned their love story into a soap opera, and suddenly you were not seeing Ben as an actor or director anymore. You were seeing him as a headline, and that is not what keeps a career thriving. And the movies? They did not help either. You know how you expect big things from someone like him? Well, his roles felt safe, the kind of safe that does not grab your attention. Critics were not impressed, and let's face it, you probably did not rush to the theater to see his latest films. In Hollywood, if you are not making hits, you are losing relevance fast. Then there is his past. You have seen it before, right? Those headlines about his struggles with alcohol and other issues. It's like no matter what he did, people could not let him move on. And by the end of 2024, he is not what he used to be. Chris Rock. All right, let's talk about Chris Rock. You know him as one of the funniest comedians, right? He has got that sharp sense of humor, the kind that makes you laugh out loud without even trying. But 2024 was not exactly his best year. His career, while still going strong in many ways, just could not shake off what happened a couple of years ago at the Oscars. Remember that moment when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock on stage? Yeah, that was a big deal. It was all over the news, and for a while, it felt like that slap was the only thing people could talk about. Fast forward to 2024, and he is still dealing with the fallout from that night. Even though he came out with a Netflix special, Selective Outrage, it did not quite have the impact it could have. The audience was still fixated on the slap rather than his comedy. It is like trying to move forward, but you keep getting dragged back to that one moment. It is tough for a comedian who is used to making people laugh without that kind of baggage following him around. And that is what is happening. Chris Rock is still funny, but the drama surrounding him made it harder for people to just enjoy his work. Olivia Rodrigo. Let's talk about Olivia Rodrigo for a minute. She burst onto the scene in 2021 with Driver's License, and honestly, it felt like she was going to be around forever. The girl had everything: amazing voice killer songwriting skills and the ability to make people feel like she was singing their story. Fast forward to 2024, and well, it is not all sunshine and rainbows for her anymore. Now, I'm not saying she has completely fallen off the map, but there has been some serious chatter about her career taking a hit. Here is the thing: Olivia became an overnight pop sensation. But being on top, that quickly comes with insane expectations. Her sophomore album, Guts, dropped, and while it had its moments, it did not really hit the way Sour did. People were expecting that same emotional punch. but it felt like the magic was not quite there. Let's be honest, 2024 has not been kind to Olivia, especially with how social media works these days. Everything she does gets picked apart, from her outfits to how she talks in interviews. It is exhausting. The same people who cheered her on when she started are now divided. Some still love her, while others are quick to criticize. Lil Durk. All right, now Lil Durk. If you have been paying attention to the rap game, you know this guy name. He had a major rise in the industry with his raw storytelling, his presence on tracks, and his emotional lyrics that reflect his life and struggles. But in 2024, his career took some serious hits that made people question if he could keep that momentum going. So what happened? For one, Lil Durk had a lot going on outside of music. There were personal issues, drama, and just a constant pressure to keep up with the ever-changing world of rap. When you have built an empire, everyone expects you to keep topping yourself, and that can be exhausting. Lil Durk had a tough time in 2024, and if you have followed his career, you probably noticed it too. He faced personal issues, constant drama, and the heavy weight of staying relevant in rap. When you are at the top, people expect you to keep raising the bar, and that pressure can put anyone down. His new music just did not hit the same. Fans felt like he kept revisiting the same themes without bringing anything fresh. And then there were the beefs rap drama that grabbed more attention than his actual work. Instead of headlines celebrating his music, it was all about personal conflicts. That kind of negativity pulls focus away from what really matters. Kanye West. Ah, Kanye West. You know him, love him, or maybe cannot stand him either way. You cannot deny that he is one of the most controversial figures in music. His career has had more ups and downs than a roller coaster. But 2024? Well, let's just say it was a year of a major downfall, and not in the way we have seen before. He has always been bold, unfiltered, and unpredictable. But in 2024, those qualities seem to backfire completely. His public outbursts and polarizing opinions, which used to grab attention and spark debate, started to alienate even his most loyal fans. People who once admired his creative genius could not get past the constant chaos anymore. It was not just about his art, it became about the drama surrounding him. His business empire took a massive hit too. Remember when JayZ was a global phenomenon? That all came crashing down after his partnerships with brands like Adidas and Balenciaga ended. The fallout was not just about money, it was about reputation. These brands did not want to be associated with the controversy he kept stirring up, and it left him in a tough financial and professional spot. Even his music, the thing that made him a household name, was not enough to save him. Fans felt disconnected, and new releases did not make the impact they once did. Industry professionals who used to praise him started distancing themselves. It was not just that Kanye was making headlines. It was that people were tired of what those headlines represented. Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider is a name that many associate with some of the biggest teen shows of the 2000s and 2010s. Shows like iCarly, Victorious, and Drake and Josh were all part of his empire. He was the go-to guy for creating hit Nickelodeon shows that defined a generation. But in 2024, things took a dramatic turn, and his career hit a huge bump that has left many wondering what happened to the guy who once ruled the children's television. Let's break it down. For years, Schneider was a well-known figure in Hollywood, but behind the scenes, whispers of troubling behavior started to surface. Allegations of creating a toxic and inappropriate work environment on his sets began to circulate. Staff members, actors, and others who worked with him began to speak out about issues ranging from verbal abuse to inappropriate comments. These whispers grew louder, and by 2024, they could not be ignored anymore. As the accusations piled up, Nickelodeon quickly distanced itself from Schneider. The network, which had once depended on him to produce hit after hit, chose to part ways, cutting ties with his production company and canceling projects they had in the works. It was not just bad press, it was a massive hit to his reputation. And just like that, the man who once was a powerhouse in the children's entertainment found himself in a public relations nightmare. Hugh Jackman. Let me tell you about Hugh Jackman and what happened to his career in 2024. If you are a fan of him, This might hit hard because honestly, it is tough to see someone you admire go through a rough time. Hugh is the guy who gave us Wolverine and sang his heart out in The Greatest Showman, faced a year that felt like one setback after another. First, let's talk about his movies. He had a big film come out, and people were expecting greatness. I mean, it is Hugh Jackman, right? But when the reviews started rolling in, they were not good. Critics said his performance felt flat, and the movie did not do well at the box office either. Imagine going to see a movie you were excited about, and it just does not deliver. That is how his fans felt. Then came the Wolverine drama. You probably remember how iconic he made that role, right? Well, he announced he would be playing Wolverine again, and not everyone was thrilled. On top of all that, Hugh went through a public divorce. For years, he and his wife were seen as the ultimate couple. So when they announced their split, it shocked everyone. And in the today world, you know how social media can be. It's like everyone has an opinion, and they are not always kind. Logan Paul. Logan Paul is a name you probably know, whether from his YouTube days, boxing matches, or his business with Prime. But by 2024, his career was not as strong as before. For years, Logan relied on drama and controversy to stay famous, but it wore thin. He tried to reinvent himself with boxing and starting a business, but it felt like he was repeating the same thing. Fans began to notice, and even his successful drink brand, Prime, faced some criticism. The drama never really stopped. Whether it was arguments or bad decisions, it started to take over everything he tried to do. By 2024, his career was not looking as solid as it once did. He still has fans, but things are not as great as they used to be. KSI. The KSI career in 2024 had a lot of similarities to Logan Paul's career. Both started out as YouTubers and gained massive fame, but their paths took a hit as the years went on. Like Logan Paul, KSI was once a king of YouTube, known for his entertaining and often outrageous content. But just like Logan, his career hit a wall when fans started feeling like he was not evolving. He leaned too much on boxing and drama to stay in the spotlight, much like Logan did with his stunts and controversial moments. Also, both of them became known for their beefs, KSI with Logan Paul and the Logan beefs with pretty much everyone. These rivalries and public feuds overshadowed their current careers. Instead of focusing on their work, people were more interested in the drama. By 2024, it felt like KSI was repeating the same mistakes Logan had made earlier in his career, relying too much on the same old content and drama to stay relevant, rather than growing and evolving in meaningful ways. MrBeast. Have you ever wondered how someone at the top of their game could start to lose it all? In 2024, MrBeast, one of the biggest names on YouTube, faced a tough year where cracks started to show in his seemingly unshakable empire. His career, built on massive challenges, giveaways, and philanthropy, began to feel like it was running out of steam. One major issue was his content. Fans who once loved his wild and creative videos started to feel like they would seen it all before. The challenges became repetitive, and instead of evolving, it seemed like he was stuck in a loop of trying to outdo himself. That kind of pressure to constantly top your last viral video can make even the most exciting ideas feel forced. And when your content does not feel fresh, people start to lose interest. Then there was the criticism about his intentions. As his charity projects grew bigger, so did the backlash. Some viewers started questioning if he was really helping people or just using those acts for clout. That kind of narrative can damage even the strongest brand, making it harder for people to trust or fully support what you're doing. Sha Kingston. In 2024, singer Sha Kingston and his mother, Janice Turner, encountered serious legal challenges. Authorities apprehended both following a raid on Kingston's Miami residence, which he was leasing. Subsequently, a Miami grand jury indicted them on charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and multiple counts of wire fraud. The indictment alleges that between April 2023 and March 2024, they fraudulently acquired over $1 million in luxury items, including nearly $500,000 worth of jewelry, by providing false payment documents to sellers. This isn't Turner's first encounter with the law. She previously pleaded guilty to bank fraud in 2006 and served approximately 1.5 years in prison. If convicted on the current charges, both Kingston and Turner could face up to 20 years in prison for each count. Kingston, known for his 2007 hit Beautiful Girls, has faced legal issues before, including probation for trafficking stolen property. Despite these challenges, he has continued to perform and engage with his fan base. Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez's 2024 was marked by both professional and personal challenges. She released her ninth studio album, This Is Me Now, on February 16, 2024, a sequel to her 2002 album, This Is Me Then. The album, inspired by her rekindled romance with Ben Affleck, was accompanied by a companion musical film, This Is Me. Now a love story and a behind-the-scenes documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. Lopez reportedly self-funded these projects with a budget of around $20 million. Despite significant publicity, the album received mixed reviews and underperformed commercially, debuting at number 38 on the U.S. Billboard 200. Critics praised Lopez's matured vocals, but criticized the album's themes. A tour, This Is Me Live, was planned to promote the album, marking her first tour in 5 years. However, Lopez canceled the tour in May 2024, citing a need to spend time with her family. On the personal front, Lopez filed for divorce from Ben Affleck on August 20th, 2024, citing April 26, 2024, as their separation date. The couple, who had previously been engaged in the early 2000s before rekindling their relationship and marrying in 2022, faced intense media scrutiny throughout their relationship. Additionally, Lopez's past relationship with Sean P. Diddy Combs resurfaced in the media amid his legal controversies, adding to the challenges she faced during the year.